Welcome back to another video, and today we have episode 11 of NBA Playoff Watch. I apologize for quite a bit of time off. I think the last time I did one of these was like a month ago, but we had a lot of stuff going on with college basketball conference tournaments, with March Madness. I just went on vacation, so a lot of stuff going on, but we're back. The playoffs are about like two and a half weeks away. It's a very exciting time, so we're going to be pumping out a few more of these episodes here before we get to the end of the season. Real quick before we get into this, make sure you go down there, subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. And yeah, with all that being said, let's look at the Eastern Conference standings. The Cavs still at the top. They got a 4.5 game lead. It has shrunk a little bit since we last talked, but they're at 60 wins. They've been an amazing team all season. I mean, 60-15. Nobody expected this coming in. Yeah, just shout out to them. And I mean, they're probably about to clinch the 1 seed here, barring some crazy, shenanigans, some crazy things to happen. But yeah, I would expect the Cavs to be the 1 seed. They've been at the top of the East all season. The Celtics are pretty much locked in at the 2 seed. There's no way. Actually, I don't think it's even possible that they could drop out of the 2 seed. Maybe it is, but I mean, there's really not that many games left. They only have 8 games left, so I guess maybe. I mean, the Knicks are 8 games back. I don't know who has the tiebreaker there, but I think the Celtics are probably more likely than not going to get the 2 seed here in the East. So I wouldn't worry too much about them. Are they still the title favorites? I'm not sure. They were last time we did this. It may have shifted, but I would assume they're still the title favorites. So they're in a great spot. The Knicks as a 3 seed, maybe not as good as these top 2 teams in the East, but still a very solid team. Still definitely, still probably going to get 50 wins. I mean, Jalen Brunson, all those guys, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Cat has been amazing this season. I mean, I think the Knicks are a good team. They have a really good offense, but I don't know how much they can really get farther into the playoffs just because of how good these top 2 teams are in the East. The Pacers at the 4 seed, we'd have some shake-up here in the 4, 5, 6 range in the East. Typically, it's the Pacers and the Bucks are fighting for that 4, 5, and the Pistons are in the 6. Now the Pistons are up at the 5. We'll talk about the Pacers before we get to the Pistons, but yeah, the Pacers, really solid team. I mean, there's not much to say. We saw them last year as the 6 seed make the Eastern Conference Finals, so maybe they can make some magic happen like that again in the playoffs. But Halliburton's been really good. Siakam as well. I mean, it's really the same team from last year. It's still just a really solid team. The Pistons, shout out to them, man. They're gonna have their first winning season since what, like 2016, almost 10 years ago. Shout out to them. I mean, they have been playing amazing. Cade Cunningham is looking like a superstar. He has been absolutely amazing. And keep in mind, they've been out without Jaden Ivey like this whole season. Their team has just they've been hooping, man. They are, 42-33. We saw what happened last year. Worst season was it the worst season in history? It was one of the worst. Yeah, they were just atrocious last year, and the fact that they are all the way up at the 5 seed and going to have a winning record this season, I mean, just an amazing turnaround. So shout out to the Pistons. The Bucks as the 6 seed. I don't think anybody expected this. I thought with Giannis and Dame, this team would be just in a weaker East. I feel like they were a lock for at least like the 4 seed. I mean, they're all the way down at the 6 seed behind the teams like the Pacers and the Pistons. That's not where you want to be. I mean, they still could jump them. There's still time. They are running out of time, but I mean, Giannis is still one of the league leaders in points. He's been absolutely amazing, and so has Dame. Although I did see he's got some blood clot issues. I don't know how serious that is, how much time he'll miss. That could be a huge problem for the Bucks, so we'll see what happens there. We'll continue to update. And then the playing in the East, really just all these teams aren't great. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't see any of these teams really getting out of the first round. 2 of them will have to get out of the play-in. We'll talk about the Hawks. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. I saw Dyson Daniels, who is maybe going to win DPOI. I don't think so. But I just saw that he got like a shoe deal, so shout out to him. He's been absolutely amazing. I think he's the steals leader this season. He's been really good. Trae Young's been really good. But yeah, Jalen Johnson being out, it hurts the Hawks' ceiling. The Magic, man, I don't know what happened. I was so high on them coming in. They pretty much have gotten everyone back besides Jalen Suggs, and they just have really just been falling. I don't know. They're 3 games under 500. Could they end up as like the 6 seed? Maybe. I mean, probably not. They're 4.5 games back. They definitely could end up as the 7 seed, though. I could see the Magic making some noise in the play-in. but I don't know how much farther I could really see them going. The Bulls and the Heat, man, sitting here at the 9 and 10, it's finally not going to be the Bulls versus Hawks, but I feel like the Bulls, Hawks, and the Heat have just been in the play-in for the past like 8 years, or ever since the play-in was announced. I don't even remember. That was like what, 5 years ago now? Was it 2020, first year of the play-in? It was, pretty recent, obviously. But it feels like every year of the play-in, it's just the Hawks, Bulls, Heat, and then somebody else. It's that last team is different every year. But here we go, Bulls Heat 9 and 10. The Bulls just got a game winner, Josh Giddey's. The Bulls have been playing really good as of late. That's interesting. Honestly, as a Bulls fan, I'd kind of prefer them to just tank. But with this team, I mean, it's good. It's better than a lot of the teams in the East. So it's not bad enough to tank, but it's not good enough to compete. We're just in the worst zone. We're in like purgatory right now. It's not where you want to be. Just really the worst spot to be. And then the Heat, same boat as the Bulls. They got a great coach, maybe the best coach in the league. Tyler Hero's been amazing. Bam's been amazing, but their ceiling isn't really that high. Then the Raptors, they're the only team that hasn't been eliminated from the play-in, but they are going to be very soon. They're 5.5 games back, and I just don't see them getting anywhere. And then the Nets, Sixers, Hornets, and Wizards, there's nothing going for them. They're eliminated from the playoffs. The Sixers, man, what a disappointing year. You just can't make this up. I mean, the amount of injuries they had and just underperforming from key pieces, it's just not what you want to see. The Hornets I had preseason, finishing as my 10 seed in the East. That was a huge miss. Although LaMelo's missed a lot of time, Brandon Miller hasn't played much. The Wizards, we knew they were going to be bad. The Nets, we knew they were going to be bad. Moving on, though, to the Eastern Conference and starting off at the top, it's going to be the Thunder. They got a 13.5 game lead. With that, they should have clinched the 1 seed. So I should have went in there and changed the color to yellow. Or actually, we'll just leave it at green. I think it's fine. But yeah, the Thunder, best team in basketball, maybe. I mean, there's some good teams. The Cavs and the Celtics may have something to say about it, but record-wise, and I think maybe just overall, they might be the best team. They may have the MVP, SGA. Crazy stat, he's leading the team he'd be second in the league in scoring if you only played 3 quarters this season. I mean, that is ridiculous. A lot of people saying free throw merchant. A lot of these good. I mean, nobody said this about Harden. He would get to the line. A lot of the good players get to the line, and realistically, if you look at the stats, he really doesn't do it any more than certain people. So, or superstar players, I guess you could say. So, the Thunder are the 1 seed, though. I mean, they're far and away the best team in the West, which is crazy because the West is just that good. I mean, there is a ridiculous amount of teams. Look at this. You got 13 teams above 30 wins. You've got maybe close to 5 teams getting above 50 wins and could potentially have like 10 teams with a winning record. It's actually ridiculous. And then at the 2 seed, we got the Rockets, man. The Rockets, again, shout out to the Rockets. Nobody's talking about them. The media, I mean, literally nobody. They feel like the Pistons, but even to a higher extent because they're the 2 seed in the West. Look at how good this conference is. You got teams like the Nuggets, Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors, Timberwolves. They're ahead of all of them. And they got some distance, too. They got a 2-game separation from the Nuggets there, the 3 seed. And, man, I mean, just the fact that nobody's talking about them, and they're going to be above 50 wins by a good amount. I mean, Jalen Green, really this whole team, Sengun, Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore. I mean, this team has been absolutely ridiculous. They've been playing amazing as of recently. Shout out to the Rockets, man. Nobody's talking about them. I'm going to give them some credit. They're 9-1 in the last 10 games. The only other teams that can say that are the Celtics and the Thunder, arguably the 2 best teams in the NBA. So, yeah, shout out to the Rockets, man. They have been ridiculous, and I think they have the second high, not second highest, but they have the 4th highest point differential in the NBA. So that's pretty good. Yeah, the Rockets have been amazing, man, and they kind of feel like the Pistons in that regard because nobody's talking about them, and they've been playing so good. But they also kind of feel like a less, maybe I don't know how to put this. Like, I don't want to say worse. I mean, they are worse, a worse version of the Thunder. They're not as good as the Thunder, but like they feel like that kind of team where they have a lot of guys who've kind of just been coming up, and I'm really worried. I always worry for teams like this because I feel like everyone's talking about, oh, they're gonna make a big trade. Could they bring Kevin Durant in? I mean, I guess they could. They have the pieces for it, but I like when teams just stick true to their guys, don't really ship them out for big pieces, and then just build a team. And that's what the Thunder have done. What trades have the Thunder made? Isaiah Hartenstein and Caruso. I mean, those aren't like big name trades. I know they traded away Paul George, but that was some years ago. They've had SGA developing for quite a while, so you know, you get what I mean. Though I mean, they develop, they draft well, and they just they just build some team chemistry. I always like teams like that. The Nuggets as the 3 seed. I mean, we know this. Jokic, maybe the best player, maybe deserving of his fifth MVP. Arguably, you could argue should have his fifth this year. I know he only has three, but you could argue that year Embiid won, he should have won, and SGA is gonna win, obviously, but you could argue he should win. He's been absolutely amazing. The Lakers at the 4 seed, just incredible what they've done. Austin Reeves, man, he's gonna be an all-star next year. People aren't talking. Everyone's Luka, LeBron. Austin Reeves has been absolutely absurd for the Lakers as of recently, and really, just for the a good portion of the season, he has been amazing. So shout out to Austin Reeves. At the 5 seed, we got the Grizzlies, 44-30. They just fired their head coach. Not too sure what that's about. There's been times of this season where they were the 2 seed, now they're the 5 seed. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of things going on in the locker room that, because like it really doesn't make sense. He's been a really, I mean, he led them to a 2 seed just a couple years back. Then they were going to be probably a top 6 seed in the West at the worst. Maybe could be higher. I mean, they're still in contention. They could definitely get up to the 3 seed by the end of this. But you really don't know in the West. I mean, all this is just so tight, so narrow. I mean, you look at the Clippers are only 4.5 games back of the Nuggets. I know the Clippers aren't going to end up as a 3 seed, but you get what I'm saying. The Warriors have been absolutely amazing since Jimmy Butler's arrived, and they're still the 6 seed. They're 43-31. It's 12 games above 500, and they're the 6 seed. It's just crazy, and they've got teams right on their tail. You look at the teams like the Timberwolves and the Clippers, and look at the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards has been ridiculous this season. I mean, he's really taken that role as the guy. These scores, he's averaging 27 points a game. And then at the Clippers, man, James Harden, people weren't talking about him. He has been amazing this season. 22.5 points per game, almost 9 assists, 6 rebounds, and Norman Powell's been really good too. That's a good duo there. Kawhi Leonard, actually, I think has been playing a lot better as of recently. He's played 30 games this season. He's averaging almost 21 points a game. That's a good little trio right there. And, they also got Zubac averaging 16. I'm starting to come around on this Clippers team. I kind of like what I'm seeing from them. The Clippers could be a sneaky little team. I wouldn't want to play them. The Mavericks at the 9 seed, I'm not sure how recently. Well, I am sure how recently we made our video, but I'm not sure if the Kyrie Irving torn ACL issue was brought up, but I just wanted to bring that up in case. But obviously, we've known that for some time. Yeah, the Mavericks just really just falling apart, man. It does stink. Anthony Davis has only played 4 games since he got traded there. And then the Kings. The Kings, I've heard a lot of bad stuff about things in the locker room. The vibes aren't great. Is Sabonis going to request a trade? What's going on with DeRozan, Levine? Malik, I mean, really the whole team. There's just a lot of question marks, a lot of controversy I heard going on in the locker room. I don't like that for the Kings. The Suns, man, how do you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and you are not in at least the play-in? It's really just absurd. They could definitely still get in there by the end of the season if the Kings things are true, where there's not stuff going on, bad stuff going on, a lot of unrest, I guess you could say. The Suns could sneak in. I mean, they're only 2 games back of the Mavericks, but I mean, how far do they go? I mean, yes, Katie and Devin Booker have been really good, but Katie's probably going to leave this offseason. Devin Booker, he's been with the Suns his whole career. Will he stay? I don't know. Is he going to request a trade soon? I don't know. It's not a good situation in Phoenix. The Trailblazers, 32-43. Honestly, surprising how good they've done. As a 12 seed, I definitely did not expect them to finish ahead of the Spurs this season. So I guess that's promising, but yeah, they're probably not getting it in the playoffs. They're 4.5 games back of the Kings. It's not looking good. And then the Spurs, obviously losing Wemby for the year stinks. Obviously, they had big expectations for him coming into the season. But I will say, Um, there's some promise. Stephon Castle's been amazing this season, and they could get a pretty decent draft pick and pick up another crucial piece. Do they kind of make some moves in the offseason? I've heard some rumors they want to pair up De'Aaron Fox and Wemby with KD. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but that could be very interesting. And then the Pelicans, just a disappointing season with all the injuries they had. And then we knew the Jazz were going to be this bad. We knew they weren't going to get into the play-in. Definitely not the playoffs. But let's go ahead and look at the playoff bracket over here. So we got in the West, the play-in, bottom left corner for you. The Timberwolves versus the Clippers, the 7-8 game. I'm going to take the Timberwolves. I just think Anthony Edwards has enough, but I do like this Clippers team, and I like how they've been playing with Kawhi getting healthy finally, with James Harden, who's been amazing. Norman Powell's been really good this year, but I think the Timberwolves have enough, led by Anthony Edwards. In a one-game scenario, I like them. The Mavericks versus Kings, don't really know who I'm going to go with. Here, I'll take the Kings. I just think they're healthier, but I don't like what I'm hearing again with the locker room issues, all that stuff. So I will take the Clippers to end up getting that 8 seed. Again, I just really like what James Harden has done this season. I feel like he's not getting enough credit. He has been, and people are saying he's washed. He has been really, really good this season. And same thing with Norman Powell, really stepping it up. Over in the East playing, the Hawks versus the Magic. Honestly, it doesn't really matter who comes out of the East playing. I don't think any of these teams have really any chance of beating the top 2 seeds in the East. I'll take the Magic. I just think their defense is good enough, and the Hawks have had some injuries where, big guys going down. I know the Magic have too, both these teams, but I think the Magic defensively have enough. And then looking at the Bulls and the Heat, I feel like we see this matchup every single play-in, and the Heat always win, so I'll go ahead and stick with that. I am a Bulls fan. They have been playing really good as of recently. Josh Giddey's been amazing. Kobe White as well. Josh Giddey's really turned it on this past month. He's been really good, but I like the Heat. I just think their coaching is just leagues ahead of Billy Donovan. Eric Spoelstra is an amazing coach. I think Tyler Hero and Bam just have enough, but these are two pretty evenly matched teams, and same kind of reason. I feel like the Heat, Bulls, Hawks, Magic even, you could throw them in, just all really evenly matched. I'll just side with the coaching and the Heat. I feel like the Heat always tend to turn it on in the playoffs. Do they get out of the first round? Probably not, but I'll take them to get out of the play-in, I guess. Looking over at the West, I was showing a lot of love to the Clippers, but unfortunately their run's going to have to come to an end. I think the Thunder would win this series here, but this would be pretty fun seeing Kawhi take on Kawhi, James Harden, Norman Powell, take on SGA, take on J-Dub, take on just all the guys they have over there. The Lakers versus Grizzlies, this would be a lot tougher to decide, but I feel like the Grizzlies, with losing their head coach, maybe they start to come together because of that. You see that sometimes, but I'll take the Lakers. I just think they have too much clicking right now. LeBron's been amazing. He's back from his injury he missed a bit of time, but before he got injured, the Lakers were just firing on all cylinders. I think Luka's going to start to, figure things out. I think Austin Reeves has been amazing. I'll take the Lakers to the second round. The Nuggets versus Warriors, it's so hard to pick against Curry, but I just don't like this matchup. I mean, who's gonna take on Jokic? I mean, Draymond Green, but I feel like he's a little small. I know he's one of the best defenders of this generation. Maybe one of the best defenders of all time. I don't really like Draymond, but he is a really good defender. And he's just really important to what the Warriors have going on. The Warriors shooting could carry them here. I mean, they just have that ability to make a run. But against the Nuggets, against Jokic, I just think the Nuggets are too much. I'll take the Nuggets. The Rockets versus Timberwolves. A lot of people hating on the Rockets. I was too for a while, but they have been playing so good as of recently. I really feel like if they get the wrong matchup, they could be a first-round exit just because a lot of those guys don't have a lot of playoff experience. And, everyone's saying, even as a 2 seed, everyone's saying, the Rockets, man, they're first-round exits. I'll show some love to the Rockets. I'll take them over the Timberwolves. Honestly, could I see the Timberwolves winning for sure? Definitely. I think I picked the Timberwolves to beat the Rockets last time we made one of these. But I'll show some love to Houston. I'll take them to the second round. The Cavs versus Heat, not really worried here. I'm going to take the Cavs. They've just been so good as of recently in the whole season. And, I mean, the offense, Donovan Mitchell's been amazing. Evan Mobley might win DPOI. I mean, this team's just so balanced, so well-rounded. The Pacers versus Pistons, I do want to show love to the Pistons. They haven't been so good as of uh, recently, and just a tremendous story. But I am going to take the Pacers. I think they've done it. They've been here before. I think they have enough. The Knicks versus Bucks. I don't like Dame being out for the Bucks. I'll take the Knicks. I just think they have more guys here. They can get it done, but Giannis is definitely a problem here. I'm not really sure how the Knicks would contain him, to be honest, but Giannis could definitely carry them through. But I think the Knicks are overall the better team. And then Celtics Magic. I'll take the Celtics pretty easily here. The Magic just don't really have enough offensively. I don't think their defense can really slow down the Celtics enough, and I just think they've been dealing with too much injuries. The Thunder versus the Lakers. I've taken the Thunder at some points in this series. I've taken the Lakers. I think maybe most recently I took the Lakers. I'm going to switch back to the Thunder. I just think they're overall the better team as of right now. LeBron's still coming back from his injury. I know he's healthy now, but I don't know, man. The Bulls just beat the Lakers. I think the Thunder could beat the Lakers. I know that's not how it works any given game any given night, but I'm gonna take the Thunder to the Western Conference Finals. I just think they've been so good. One of the best seasons I think statistically of all time. And I mean, you look at this is an argument against Shea for MVP, but with Shea they're like a 60 plus win team. Without him they're like a 55 win team. I mean, SGA is not the only part of this team. This team is so good on both sides of the ball. One of the best offenses and defenses in the league. I think they're just they're just clicking everywhere. I mean, there's really not a weakness to this Thunder team. I guess you'd say lack of experience is their weakness, but I think they would get past the Lakers. The Nuggets versus Rockets, I think the Nuggets would take it. Just kind of same thing. Just not a lot of experience here. Not a lot of. I haven't seen this Rockets team in the playoffs yet, so I can't really pick them to go that far. I'll take Jokic. We know what we're getting. The Cavs versus Pacers. The Pacers did upset, who was it, the Knicks as the 2 seed last year. I don't think they do it again this year. I think the Cavs have too much. I think Donovan Mitchell leads this team to the Eastern Conference Finals. By the way, Darius Garland, I haven't mentioned him at all, I don't think, this episode. Darius Garland has been amazing this season, so Cavs got so many guys. So I will go ahead and move the Cavs through. And then at the bottom, the Knicks versus Celtics. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I just don't know if the Knicks are as good as the top two teams in this conference. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's levels to this. I feel like the East is pretty set in stone that these top two teams are going to be the Eastern Conference Finals teams, unless we see some crazy things happen. But I don't know, man. The Celtics are just so good. There's a reason they're still the title favorite. I think they are still. But, I mean, they won it last year. It is very hard to repeat. I don't know if they will repeat, but I think there's, it would be pretty surprising if they don't at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Could the Knicks do it? Sure. Jalen Brunson, Cat, really good team, really good duo right there. And then you got guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, just plenty of dudes over there in New York. But I think the Celtics, with the home court advantage, with the fact that they won the title and are the title favorites this year, I think the Celtics get through. And then the Thunder versus the Nuggets, the battle of the two MVPs. This would be a tremendous Western and Eastern Conference Finals. What a great, two sets of series this would be. The Thunder versus Jokic and the Nuggets. It's really, I mean, you look at the numbers. With Jokic, the Nuggets are a 60-plus win team. Without him, they're like a less than 20 win team. It's actually ridiculous. But playoff time, Jamal Murray, we know what he can do. And we know, the Nuggets didn't win too long ago. I mean, I kind of worded that weird. How do I say this? They didn't, you know what I'm saying? They won 2 years ago. And, they could definitely get back there this year. But I think the Thunder have too much. I'm going to take Thunder. I just think, I said this earlier. The argument against SGA is because the team around him is still so good. But I feel like in a series, that'll help them win. I know they lack some experience, but they were there last year. They were the 1 seed last year. And I know Luka, Kyrie beat them, ended up going to the finals. But they lost to the team that made the Western Conference Finals. I think the Thunder do get to the finals this year. They've gotten some experience under their belt. I think the Thunder get to the finals. And then the East, the Cavs, Celtics, I always don't know who to pick here. The Cavs have been so good all season. The Celtics are the favorites. I'm going to take the Celtics. I hate going against the Cavs because They have one of the best players in the league in Donovan Mitchell. I think that's fair to say. As of this point, he's been amazing. He's led this team all season. And then they have one of the best defenders in the league in Evan Mobley. Jared Allen's been great. DeAndre Hunter's come in. Darius Garland has been absolutely amazing for them. I mean, this team is just really good, but I think the Celtics have too much, man. You look at a guy like Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, Porzingis. I mean, they just have so many. Derek White. I mean, so much experience on this team. I think the Celtics get to the finals, and I think this was my preseason NBA Finals prediction. I'm going to stick with my preseason pick. I think I've picked the Celtics in a couple recent ones. I'm going back to the Thunder, though. I mean, I just think as of right now, they look like the best team. They look like the most complete team. They have the best record in the NBA. That's not everything. But, man, they have been so good all season. I think the Thunder would get it done. I'm going to pick the Thunder as of right now. But let me know in the comments who you got if the NBA playoffs were to start today. Who do you got? I mean, you won't have to wait that long for a playoff bracket. I mean, it's really only 2 weeks away. The end of the regular season, I should say, is about 2 weeks away. So that's very exciting. Well, again, we'll be covering the NBA here very closely in the next couple weeks. And probably later this week we'll have a March Madness type video where we maybe recap what's happened since I've been gone for so long, and we're probably going to do a Final Four and National Championship prediction video here in the coming days. So that is going to do it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we upload. Check out our March Madness picks. You can see how bad my bracket has done. It really hasn't done that bad, but you know it's not perfect, obviously. So yeah, check out that. And yeah, we're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. Check out our MLB season predictions. We're also going to be covering that very closely here as the baseball season begins. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for episode 11. If you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.